Well, I met, well, actually, I didn't meet. I heard Mark Muirhead speak at youth camp back when I was in high school in 1994. And I never dreamed back then that this kind of distant speaker, that at the time was very impressive for me as a youth, I would actually get to meet around 6 years later when our college and career group came down here to help fix up this old building, which is now this amazing leadership center and kind of the headquarters and studio for Friends Forever TV. But over the last 6 years or so, I've really gotten to know Mark and Lori and Alex and just really seen their heart and see what a heart they have for missions. And just that whole experience has kind of changed my entire perception of what missions is. Back when I was 13, I know I was called to missions, and I thought it was just saving lots of people and going to another country. But since then, it's completely changed. It's more now of, and he's already said this, and we've heard it all weekend long, just getting to know individual people, finding out what they need, meeting their needs, serving them in whatever way you can. And that's the way that you can show God's love and connect with them. And 4 years ago, when I went on my first Friends Forever missions trip, he held up this lollipop and asked our group, "What is this?" And we were just out there staring at him. We're like, "It's a lollipop." And he's like, "No, it's a bridge." And that is what we were supposed to use to connect with the kids and other people we met. Just always finding some small way of connecting with everyone that we met. And then through that personal connection, we would get to show them God's love and show them that we cared. And that connection is what would help us stay in their hearts and them to stay in our hearts, and for them to really see God's love for them. And I guess I really saw this personal connection and this individual attention, how important it was when 2 years ago in my first intern experience, we went to Blossom Garden, it seemed like almost every day, and there's this little girl named Kelsey, and to some of my friends, I kind of nicknamed her Stoneface, because that's really what she was. It was sad. She had a brother, and he lived at home with the mom, and she was stuck at this orphanage, probably about 3 years old at the time, and she showed no sign of expression, nothing. I picked her up, didn't seem to faze her. If I picked her up, I put her down. She didn't cry, she didn't laugh, she didn't smile. But I went back with her every single day, just trying to talk with her and let her know that I cared and that God loved her. And I wondered, is this really effective working with one child when there are how many other kids there that I could be playing with? Well, by the end of that 3.5 weeks, she was actually starting to smile. And the first really big show of emotion I saw was when I had to put her down for the last time. And she actually cried. And it tore me up. And even now I think, well, that one individual person and all of that time I invested in her, she could see God's love just by me being available and spending that time with her. And so I would pray for her frequently throughout the last year, and went back last summer, and I was hoping I'd see her, kind of. I mean, I wanted her to be in a home, but at the same time, you get attached to these kids and you want to see them again. And there she was. I found her in one of the back rooms in a classroom. And as soon as I spotted her, she kind of walked over to me and she reached her arms up. And she smiled, and it just made all the prayers and all the time that I'd spent with her worth it. And I saw just the value of how working with one individual really can be effective. And it's through this whole Friends Forever Missions experience and this whole change of my perception of what missions is that helped make that possible. And there's so many of us that have gone on trips and to Jamaica year after year and working with these individuals and just getting to know them by name. And there's so many more that I could list for you. And everyone here that stood up that they've been on a trip before has that many more names. And now with the TV, we're broadcasting all of these different things, whether it's an ice cream party, or it's singing with Grandmama at the hospice, or it's the wheelchair races at West Haven. People are seeing these, and it's going all over Montego Bay. And we went to a public school, Chetwood Primary School, and one of the kids came up to me, and I introduced myself. He said, "Well, I know you. I saw you on TV, and you were with Marlon and Keno," and he named these two kids in a wheelchair from West Haven home, an hour-and-a-half drive away. Had no idea who these kids were, but he knew them, and he saw what we were doing, and he was able to see us loving God and showing God's love to these kids and loving these kids because of the TV and all of the different things that we've put on the TV down in Jamaica. And now that we've come back, we're here, of course, at the gathering and reunited with some of our other teammates and just having a great time thinking about all of our different experiences and getting pumped up and excited for this coming summer. And because of these different videos that we can see now online, we're able to stay connected with the names and the faces that we touched during the summer. And right now it's being played down there, and they can see their friends from back here. And that's just what makes it all worth it. And going down year after year, it just helps build that trust and make those connections go even deeper. And it just means the world to me. And until the end, the message of Christ is friends forever.